Hello dear aspirants, welcome back to Vyasa IAS CSAT course. So now that we have done the topic of profit and loss, now we are moving to the chapter of interest. Alright, now we are moving to the chapter of interest. So let's see what this chapter basically hold for us. Now this chapter is very important from the perspective of data interpretation as well. I hope you understand this thing because see, data interpretation is definitely asked in UPSC. So sometimes you are asked about a concept which is known as compounded annual growth rate, which is also a part of data interpretation. So only from data interpretation we see this kind of questions when we'll do UPSC previous year questions. Then we will see about this. Okay, so let us begin the topic of interest. Now, see, topic of interest is very much in news nowadays. Why? Because one thing is we have a time value of money. Okay, so like 5 rupees today will not be 5 rupees tomorrow. Okay, so for example, if you have lent 5 rupees today to anybody, he will pay some interest to you. Okay, so this 5 rupees can become 500 or 5,000 as well if there are many years that surpass. Okay, because if you see the stocks, okay, if you see the stocks which people buy, so if Infosys you have bought like say 2,000 rupees a stock, so now it would have been at least 20 lakh rupees now. Okay, so see, you invested your money, you got some interest on that. Definitely, in case of stocks, we don't get interest. We get interest when we keep our money in bank. Here we get dividend. Okay, here we get dividend. So I hope everybody is clear with this thing. So that is why we are talking about interest. Why? Because that money, when put to work, will produce some return, and because you will lend that capital, so you will receive some interest. Okay, so this is it. Okay, now we are not studying economics. We are the student of CSAT here. So let us focus on that only. So this is simple interest. It is calculated on the basis of a basic amount borrowed for an entire period at a particular rate. Okay. So for example, 100 rupees are there. Okay. Now it is saying that somebody has lent you 100 rupees at 10% interest rate. So you will write what? 10%. Okay. So you know 10% of 100 is what? 100, 10 rupees. So your interest is 10 rupees and the amount if he gives back to you after 1 year. If this person after taking 100 rupees from you and having 10% interest rate gives back to you this 1 year, this backs to you this money after 1 year, then you will have how much? Then you will have 110 rupees with you. Okay, because that person is now going to return 110 rupees to you. So I hope you understand this concept. Fine. Now see, uh, what happens if you are lending this person money for 4 years and he is giving you 10% interest rate each year. Okay, each year. So and this is simple interest. One thing is we have compound interest and another thing we have simple interest. So basically 100 rupees for 10 years, 10% is interest he is giving. So how much you are getting? 10 rupees for first year, 10 rupees for second year, 10 rupees for third year, as well as 10 rupees for fourth year. So total how much money you are getting as interest? 40 rupees after 4 years. Okay, and total money how much you will get back? 140. So we know this is 40%. So that means if you are taking simple interest at 10% per annum after 4 years, your money will increase by 40%. Okay, your money will increase by 40%. So see, in this case, interest came equal to what? 40. So this 40 can be written as what? Principal into rate into time divided by 100. Okay. So P is what? P is here 100 rupees. Okay. R is what? 10. Time is 4 years divided by 100. So what is the interest? You are getting 40 rupees. So this is a formula for us. What? That interest is equals to P into R into T by 100. Okay. That interest is equals to P into R into T by 100. So I hope you understand this thing, what I am saying that um, because this for this we are getting 10% interest rate each year. That means only 10 rupees we are getting as our interest each year. Now this is not about, this is, we are talking about simple interest. So I hope you understand how simple interest is given. So for example, if there is 100 rupees and somebody is giving you 10%, so any year, maybe fifth, sixth, on 100 rupees you will get 10 rupees interest only. Okay, on 100 rupees you will get 10 rupees interest only. So I hope you understand what is simple interest. Okay, now let us move on to the concept of compound interest. Now, okay, what happens is that somebody lend you a money of, let's say, 1000 rupees at 10% per annum. Okay, so at 10% per annum, what will be your simple interest for first year? Your simple interest will be 100. And what will be your compound interest for first year? That too, it will be 100. So always remember that simple interest and compound interest for first year will always be equal to 100. Okay, will always be equal to what? 100. Now look at this thing. In the second year, your simple interest will be what? 100, because 1010% is 100. We already studied that. So 1010% is 100. So in second year also we will get 100 rupees only as simple interest. Now what will be the compound interest? Okay, what will be the compound interest? Now see, this compound interest basically increases every year. So the amount on which the interest is given, that increases every year. So for example, you start with 1000 rupee. Okay, with 1000 rupee. So you are getting 10% interest rate. Okay, so 10% is how much? 100. So now your amount is how much? 1100 rupees. Okay, now your amount is how much? 1100 rupees. Now you will get interest on this 1100 rupees. So are you understanding this thing, that the amount you have not taken as interest, now you are, that amount is also added to your sum and you are given interest on that also. So basically, if I try to explain this in simple language in Hindi as well, कि अगर आपने 1000 रुपये लिए हैं, आपको 10% इंटरेस्ट रेट मिल रहा है, तो आपको 100 रुपीज़ मिला। एंड यही 100 रुपीज़ अब आपके जा करके इसमें ऐड हो जाएगा, किसमें? प्रिंसिपल में ऐड हो जाएगा। और जब आप सेकेंड ईयर में इंटरेस्ट रेट लेंगे 10%, तो आपको इसका 10% मिलेगा। सो दैट इज 110 रुपीज। ओके, दैट इज 110 रुपीज। सो व्हाट इज बेसिकली आई एम सेइंग, दैट once you calculate the interest on the first year, that interest also added to your principal, and then you are given interest rate on the next year for that. Okay, so now this becomes what is the 10% of this? Now this will become 110. So now your amount becomes how much? Now your amount will become, so we will add 10% of this. Okay, so this will become 110. For the second year, how much you will get? 110 rupees. Fine. And now for the next year, what will be your initial sum? 1210. Add this interest plus this value, and then we will have 10% interest rate on this. So we will get how much? 121 rupees. Okay, 121 rupees. And now add this 121 as well here. So you will get how much? 1331 rupees. And iska 10% interest. So how much compound interest you are getting? 131. So this much compound interest you are getting. Okay, in 4 years you are getting this much compound interest. So this much compound interest I am getting. That means what? See, now your amount will become what? Final amount will become what? Um, in the first year you got 110 rupees as interest. In the second year you got 121 rupees as interest. In the third, sorry, in the first year you got 100 rupees as interest. In the second year you got 110 rupees. In the next year you got 121 rupees. Okay, and in this year you got this much rupees. So finally the compound interest you are getting is that will be equal to how much? See, here after 4 years, 10 plus 10 plus 10, 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus 100, so that means 400. And 400 is how much? 40% of 1000. And here how much? 100 plus 110 plus 121 plus 1331. Okay, 133.31. Now you can calculate this. What are you going to get? This is 3 plus 1, 4. Okay, so you can write 4 here, zero point 0.1. Okay, then you have 3 plus 2, 5, and this is 6. You can write 6 here, and here you are having this 1, 1, and 1. So you are having 464.1. So that means your total compound interest that you are getting after 4 years is how much? 46.41%. So that means what? Your money rose by 46.41%. I hope you understand this. What I am saying, that your money rose by 46.41%. So I hope you are okay with this. Now let's start. Let's move forward a bit more. Okay, now let us understand some basic terms about money lending. So, a man who lends money is called the creditor, and the man who borrows the money is called debtor. Okay, so in question, whenever someone is called creditor, so he is giving you the money, and someone is calling, and someone is being called a debtor or debtor. So, he is taking the money. Okay, this one is giving the money and this one is taking the money. So I hope you understand this. Okay, now let us look at this one. The amount of the money that is initially borrowed is called capital or principal money. Okay, the period for which money is deposited or borrowed is called time, and the extra money that will be paid or received for the use of the principal after a certain period is called total interest on capital. So I hope you understand this. Okay, so basically we have rate of interest, we have time, we have principal, and we have amount. And the best thing that we have is interest, because this is the actually the gain we are getting. Okay, this is actually the gain we are getting. So I think now you must have understood these things. Okay, now see, amount is equals to principal plus total interest. Okay, so for example, if you are being asked what is the total amount after 4 years, so 4 years interest you add and into the principal, then you get your amount. So this interest could be any interest, this interest could be simple interest. Okay, this interest could be simple interest, and this interest could be compound interest as well. Okay, this interest could be compound interest as well. So I hope this thing is very clear to you. Okay, now principal is equals to rupees P, time is equals to TS, rate of interest is equals to R%, and total interest is equals to rupees I. So we have I is equals to how much? P into T into R divided by 100. We have interest is equals to how much? P into T into R divided by 100. So this is how we get our thing. Okay, now let's move forward. Now look at this. Total interest is equals to principal into time into rate of interest per annum divided by 100. Okay. Now see, obviously we know this formula. In case of simple interest, our interest can be calculated as P into T into R by 100. See, you can obviously use this in case where direct formula can be applicable. Otherwise, in the coming question we will see how we will do this with the help of tricks, and we will not use any formula. Okay, so we will do this with the help of methodology. I don't like the word tricks at all, because there are no tricks. Okay, there are only concepts, there are no tricks. Okay, so this is what I am trying to convey to you. So simple interest is principal into time into rate of interest divided by 100. You must have studied this in your basic classes as well. If not, we can revise this here. And time is equals to what? See, time can be calculated as what? Total interest. Okay, divided by interest on principal for 1 year. Okay, so for example, this is very easy. If someone gives you a question that total interest is 400 rupees, okay, and interest on principal for 1 year is 100 rupees. Okay, so and if someone is asking that for how many year money was lent to you, so you can definitely do this by what? 400 by 100, that means for 4 years. Okay, that means for 4 years. So this is a very good formula for calculating time. That is total interest divided by interest on principal for 1 year. But we cannot do this in case of compound interest. Okay, we cannot do this in case of compound interest. Now see, if we have to do in case of compound interest, for example, in the last question, we saw our interest was something 464. Okay, so but if it is divided by 4, then definitely you can calculate the time. Okay, if it is divided by some average value given, then definitely we can calculate the time. But this is not very feasible formula for compound interest. Beware of that. Okay, now, okay, then let us move on to our next concept. So, compound interest. Okay, now let us study compound interest in a little bit more detail. Now, difference between the amount and the money borrowed is called compound interest for a given interval. So, if principal is equals to T, time is equals to n years, and rate is equals to R percent per annum. Okay, and rate is equals to R percent per annum. Let A be the total amount at the end of n years. So our amount is given by principal 1 plus R by 100 to the power n. Okay, so this is the formula for compound interest. Compare this with the formula for um, this is the amount for compound interest. Compare this with the formula for simple interest. Okay, so simple interest amount is given by what? 1 plus r into t, p here, 1 plus r into t, and this rt will be divided by 100. Here if we look at the formula of this one, so what is the if we compare the formula for simple interest and compound interest, there is much difference. Okay, here you are raising this to the power n, which is n is what? Time. And here you are just multiplying the time. Okay, here time is giving you exponential return. Here time is just giving you a multiple return. Okay, so this is the thing. I hope you understand this well. Okay. See, we are never going to use this formula for calculating compound interest. Like I told you, for example, we are given 100 rupees, and then there is 10% interest rate. Now always there will be not 10% interest rate, but we will see the tricks how we will calculate this. But look at this, if we are given 100 rupees and we are giving 10% interest rate, so this will come to be what? 10 rupees. Okay, 10 rupees interest, and then the amount will become 110. Then this will again 10%. So I am asking about like 4 years. Okay, so this will become what? 121. Then again 10%. So that means 12.1 more you add. So it will become 133.1. Okay, 133.1. So your compound interest is how much? It came to be 133.1. Okay, it came to be what? 133.1. This is your amount. Okay, this is your amount, and how much is your compound interest? 33.1%. Okay, how much it is your interest? 33.1%. So you can obviously calculate this by, because you added plus 10 here, you added plus 11 here, and you added 12.1 here. So if you add these 10 plus 11 plus 12.1, then also you get 33.1. So this is the percentage compound interest you are getting after 3 years. Okay, so after 3 years you are getting this much amount interest, okay, on this. So this is the method we are going to calculate. Instead of, see, if this is 10%, then maybe this is easy to calculate, but imagine if this is 12%, then how we will do it. Okay, so for that I will tell you the method. So this way, if we do by this method 10, so what this will become? P 1 plus 1 by 10 to the power 3. Okay, so this will become what? If we took, let's say, principal of 100 rupees, and then we take 10% interest, let's say for 3 years, and we put in this formula. So this will become what? 100 into 11 into 11 into 11 divided by what? Because this and this will get cancelled, so this will be 10. 10 into 10 into 10. Okay, so this is all getting, this becomes this. So amount becomes how much? This will be equal to 1331. Okay, because 11 into 11 is 121 and 121 into 11 is 1331. So the amount will be equal to how much? This much. Okay, the amount will be equal to this much. 1331 divided by 10. So that will be 133.1. So now we understand that how we can calculate the amount. Okay, by this formula. But because this is very easy in calculation, that is why you are able to do. Okay. So unless your calculation is very easy, you can follow this method as well. So for example, if you are given, let's say that rate of interest is 50% for 3 years and you are given 100 rupees, or let's say any number of rupees, so definitely this calculation becomes easy because 100, 1 plus 50 by 100 uh, to the power 3, let us take. So this will become 1 by 2. So that means this will become 3 by 2. Now you have to just do this 3 by 2 into 3 by 2 into 100. Okay. So you know this is 25. This is what? 27. So 25 into 27 divided by 2 you have to do. So now this calculation is also comparatively easy. So it is all about how you proceed these calculations. Okay. So, okay. So I hope you understand by what method we will do. Now see, if it is saying when the compound interest is reckoned half yearly, so this is basically saying that your money is compounded at R% half yearly. Okay, so in that case, what you will do, instead of putting R here, you will put R by 2. Okay, so for example, it is saying 4% interest for half year. So this is the formula for annual year. So we will do what? We'll put this as R by 2. Okay. And in case of years, because see, if every half year my money is increasing, so that means if I'm taking 2 years, my money will increase 4 times. Okay. So for example, if someone is saying that calculate the interest rate for 1 year if it is compounded at, let's say, 8% per annum half yearly. Okay, so please write this question in your copy when you will be solving. So I am saying that calculate the interest rate when compounded, sorry, calculate the amount when compounded annually at 4% per annum for 3 years if principal is 100. Okay. And the next question is calculate the amount when compounded annually at 4% per annum. Sorry, calculate the amount when compounded half yearly if we do. Okay, half yearly at 4% per annum for 3 years if principal is 100. Okay, so let's see how we can do this. So when we are calculating annually, when we are calculating annually at 4%, okay, at 4% per annum, we can put this formula. What? 100, 1 plus, this is 4 divided by 100 to the power n. And I have taken 3 here. Okay, I have taken 3 here. So this will be 1 by 25. So this will be 100 into 26 into 26 into 26, 25 into 25 into 25. Now you see this cash calculation is not easy at all. Okay, this calculation is not easy at all. Okay, so we will not calculate by this method. Okay, we will not calculate by this method. How we will calculate? See, I am now talking about annually and then we will take half yearly as well. But look at this. This calculation is not easy. But if I do this, so 4% of 100 is what? 4 rupees. So now the amount becomes 104 and 4% of this 104 is what? See, now how you can calculate this? 4% of this 104 is what? 4% of 100? plus 4% of 4 rupees. Okay, so 100 ka 4%, you know how much it was? 4 only. And what is 4% of 4? 0.16. Okay, 4% of 4 is what? 0.16. So now you will add how much? 4.16. So this will become what? 108.16. Okay, and see, this is for 1 year, this is for 2 year, okay, and this is for third year. Now 4% of this 108.16. Okay, so you know this we can write as 4% of 104 plus 4.16. Okay, plus 4.16. Now you know what is 4% of 104? 4.16. Okay, 4.16. Now you just have to calculate the 4% of 4.16, but you also know that 4% of 4 is 0.16, so just add 0.16, and you just have to calculate 4% of 1 point of 0.16. So what is 4% of 0.16? It will be 0.064. Okay, 4% of 0.16 will be 0.064. So 0.16 into 4 divided by 100. Okay, into 4 divided by 100, so this will come to be what? 64, and divided by 100. Okay, so already there is point. Okay, so this will come to be, I think, 0.0, because already there is a decimal, so we'll 0.0064. Okay, 0.0064. This is 4% of this. Now see what we have to add in this, basically 4.16 plus 0.16, so that means 4.32, and this we can ignore. Obviously if you want you can add, so that will be 4.3264. So just add 4.3264 here, so that will become equal to what? 112, and this will be 4864. So this is our new compound interest rate at 4%. And you obviously know this calculation is much easier than 26 into 26 into 26 divided by 25 into 25 to 25 into 100. Okay, so this calculation is much easier. Okay, fine. Now you have seen this calculation. You have seen this calculation. Now let's move on to one more thing. Okay, what we took another question: calculate the amount when compounded half yearly at 4% per annum for 3 years. Okay, so when we are calculating half yearly, let's say what happens. Let's see what happens. So first we will see the formula, and then we will see by this method. Okay, so first let us see the formula, what the formula says. Okay, so let us start. So the formula is r by 2, and what is 4? 4, what is r here? R equal to 4. N equal to, this is 3 years, so we have to calculate for 3 years. We have to compound half yearly. Okay, so what we are going to write, this A is equals to, this P is what? P is going to be 100, and this is 1, and this is R is equals to R is equals to what? um 4 by 2. Here we can write 4 by 2. Here you will write 100, and here you will write what? 2 into 3. Now this becomes what? This becomes 2. Okay, this becomes 2, and this becomes 1 by 50. So now what you are going to get? 100 into 51 by 50 into 51 by 50 into 51 by 50 into 51 by 50 into, and that to how many times? 6 times. Okay, 6 times. Fine, we have to calculate this, but sorry, see, yeah, we have to calculate this, but this calculation is definitely very cumbersome. So what we will do, instead of this we can calculate what? This 6 time we can do the same method of 4% per annum. Okay, so basically for 3 years it asking, and every half year we are getting interest of 4%. Okay, every half year we are getting interest of 4%. So amount starts from this. Do 4% of this, you will get 104. Do 4% of this, you will get how much? You already know how much? 108.16. Do 4% of this again. You will get again your answer. Do 4% of that. Do this 6 times. You will get your answer. So this is how we can do these types of questions. So I hope you understand now what I am trying to explain you. Now let's move a little bit more forward. Now, see, for example, if any question is asking you, calculate the difference between the compound interest and simple interest over 2 years. Over 2 years, if it is saying, okay, so that will be given by PR square divided by 100 square, or PR 100 whole square. Okay, so this is only for 2 years. I would recommend not to go for formula, because you also saw in that formula what happened. So if you understand what is the concept of the compound interest, I think it will not be difficult for you anymore. Okay, so I hope you understand this thing. Fine. Okay, so I hope you understand this thing, what I am trying to explain you here. Okay, now let's move forward a bit. Please don't go for this formula. You can very easily calculate simple rate by the product method that I am telling you, and you can very easily calculate the compound interest by the method that I am telling you. So you can compound both of these things and you can calculate the difference between two. So you in 2 years, 3 year, any year you can calculate. Okay, so you don't have to go for this formula. So I hope you are able to understand what I am saying. Okay, now look at one more concept. This is the concept of depreciation value. Okay, so if V0 is the value at a certain time and R% per annum is the rate of depreciation, then the value V1, that is how much the thing has depreciated or any amount has depreciated after T years, can be given by what? V1 is equals to V0 1 minus R by 100 to the power T. Okay, V1 is equals to V0 1 minus R by 100 to the power T. So this is what we are basically trying to do. Okay, here we are calculating depreciation. Now depreciation can be asked in any question. Population depreciated, anything else depreciated. Now you can see this formula is similar to which formula? If only this would have been plus, then this would be similar to the compound interest formula. Okay, so this is minus, so there is depreciation. This is plus, so that is appreciation. And appreciation is what? Your interest only, because interest, the value is increasing. Fine. So this formula is of use, but then we will see that we don't need all these formula in our calculation when we see what will happen when we start doing questions. Okay, so I hope everybody understand the concepts of depreciation here. Now see, these kind of concepts are definitely applicable on the population change. So population change, maybe we can use compound interest. For example, if it is saying the population of village is a 1000, okay, then it is saying that in the following year the population appreciated by, let's say, 20%. So the population becomes 1200. Then in the next year it is saying your population appreciated by how much? Let's say 40%. Okay, 40%. So 40% of this is how much? 480. 40% of 1200 is how much? 480. So the population will become what? 1680. Okay, 1680, and now it is saying the population depreciated by 10% the next year. So you will do what? Just 1680 minus 168, which is 2, है ना? Which is 2, and this is 7, this is 1, this is 6 only, so this will be 5. So you will get your population is finally 1512. So that formula we don't have to use, but still we will be able to use all these things. Okay, we will be able to use all these things. um Now see, again I am telling you, don't go for formula. Do remember the formula, but don't go for formula. Keep your concept clear that what is compound interest, what is simple interest. Now you know that how you can by consecutive increment, how you can calculate. So you will be able to calculate the compound interest, the simple interest. It is just that your calculation should be a little bit faster. Okay, so what we need here is the speed of calculation in percentage, and we will be trying to increase that calculation only here. Okay, so let us look at some of the more concepts in depth. Now, this is giving you, we will first understand what is the difference between simple annual growth rate and compound annual growth rate. Now, what is compound annual growth rate? So, let us look at a very simple situation. So, there is a scooter company and it is increasing sales by 20% in the first year, and then again increases its sales by 20% in the second year, and also increases in third year. So let us say if the scooty sales were like 1000, 20% it appreciated, so then it became 1200, again 20% appreciated. So this will become what? You will add 240 more here you added 200, here you will add 240 more here, so this will come to be 1440, and you will add 20% more here, so this will come to be what? 288. So just add 288 to this, so you will get how much? 1440 and 288, so this will be 8 1, this will be 1728. Okay, this will be 1728. Okay, this will be 1728. So, how much interest rate you are getting? Basically 72.8%. Okay, so this 20 plus 20 plus 20 is not 60%. It is your compounded annual growth rate for 3 years is 72.8%. Okay, and now see what it is saying in this one. The sales of a brand of scooter increases from 100 to 120 units in a particular city. What does this mean to you? Simply that there is a percentage increase of 20% in the sale of scooter. Okay, so simple annual growth rate is means that this increase 100 to 120 unit, and if it is saying that it is again increasing 20% on the sale of this initial year, so that means 120 only. Okay, that means the share of scooters that are sold, if they are increased, that means only 20. Okay, so this is the difference between compounded annual growth rate, that is 1 year there is increase and there is increase on increase of this. Okay, so from 1000 it became 1200, from 1200 it will become 1440, and from 1440 it will become 1728. So this is how we do this. Okay, I hope this is clear to everybody. Let's move on. Now look at this, what this is saying. Suppose you have to calculate compound interest on rupees 100 at a rate 10% per annum for let's say 10 years. Okay. So what we are going to do here, it is saying suppose we have to calculate this compound interest on 10% per annum for 10 years. Okay, so how you will calculate this? From 100, 10% you will go 110. From here you will go, it will become what? 10% of this is 11. So just add 11 here. Okay, so this will become 121. Now 10% of this is what? 12.1. Okay, so this becomes 133.1. 10% of this is what? Uh, 13.31. So add just 13.31 here. So this will become 146. Okay, so this will here become 146.41, then 10% on this. Okay, then 10% of this. So what is then 10% of this? 14.64. Add this. So now we came to how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. If we go on increasing, we will get our 10% per annum on 10 years. Okay, compound interest. And if you see, if you try to calculate this by the method of multiplying, it will be so long. Okay, and we will see the short method as well. In this question, we are talking about how to calculate the compound interest on rupees 100 at a rate of 10% per annum for a period of 10 years. Okay. So when we are trying to do this, we will not use any formula, which is what I am recommending. You can remember a formula, but using formula is not feasible because see, if you are using formula here, so what is the formula for compound interest? It is p plus 1 plus r by 100 to the power n. N is what here? 10. Okay, n is equals to 10 here and r is equals to 10 as well because 10%. So r is equals to 10% and n is equals to 10 years. Okay, so if we use this formula, see what is going to happen. Principal will put at 100, 1 plus this 10 by 100. So this to the power 10. So 100 becomes 11 by 10 to the power 10. Now how much you are going to multiply this 11 into 11 into 11 into 11 into so on and 10 into 10 into. Okay. So this calculation will become very cumbersome. We cannot calculate compound interest for 10 years based on this. Okay. So what is our strategy of calculating this? Okay, what is our strategy of calculating this compound interest is basically we are using this 100 and 10% of this is what 110. 10% of this is what here you did plus 10, here you will do plus 11, so this becomes 121. 10% of 121 is what you will get 12.1. Okay, 12.1. So this becomes what? This becomes 133.1. Okay, so this is for 1 year, this is for 2 year, this is for the third year. So this is the compound interest for third year. Okay, you did what? You put plus 12.1 here. Okay, 10% of this 133.1 is 13.31. 13.31. Okay, so what are you going to get when you are doing this 10%? You will get 146.41. Okay, so this is the fourth one. Then 10% of this is what? 14.64. Okay, 14.64. So 146.41 and this is 14.64. So this becomes 5, this becomes 0. Okay, this becomes how much? 11. This becomes 161.05. Okay, so this is the fifth one. You have 161.05. What is 10% of this? 16.10. So in 161.05 you have to add 16.10. So that becomes 170 7. Okay, 177.15. So this is fifth one. Okay, this is fifth one. 10% after 5 years. Okay, sorry, after six, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 year. After 6 year, we'll get this much of amount. Okay. After 7 years, what are you going to get? After 7 years, you are going to get this 177.15. After this in the eighth year, what are you going to get? So 10% of this again, so 17.71 you will add in what? In this. So this will become what? 17.1 this. So this become equal to how much? 6, 8. This is 14. This is 194.86. Okay, 194.86. This is for eighth year. Okay, fine. Um, and now again 10% of this, that means 19.48. So just add here 19.48. How much are you going to get? You are going to get this 4, 3, 1. So this becomes 4, 1. Um, this is 0, 1 again. Okay. And 200 14.34. Okay, 214.34. This is of which year? This is of ninth year. Okay, and 10% again. So 21.43 should be your interest rate. So this becomes 21.43. So this is 77 and this is 53. So this is 235.71. Okay. So your 100 rupees after 10 years of compound interest became 235.71. What is the increase? 135.71% increased. Okay. So compound interest is how much? 135.71, because 100 rupees is the original amount, and you know amount is equals to what? Principal plus interest. So principal is 100, amount is rupees 235.71. So this is how much? 135.71. Okay, this is 135.71. So I hope you understand this thing. Now see, this question is very easy to do. Why? Because 10% का दिया था, तो 10% में हम क्या करते हैं, बस ये जीरो हटाते जाते हैं और 11 कर दिया, यहाँ पे 12.1 we did, यहाँ पे we did 13.31 and so on. Okay, so this becomes very easy. But what if you are getting 12% interest rate? Okay, what if you are getting 12% interest? So how to calculate that? So we are just going to do that here. Okay, so for example, we have to calculate 12% interest rate for 10 years. So this will become difficult. So see what we are going to do here. We take 100 and first we calculate 12% of this. So what is 12% of 100? So this is 112. Okay, 112. Now you have to take 12% of this 112. Now this calculation is little bit cumbersome. So see what we are going to do here. This 112, you can break it as 112. Okay, you can break it as 112. Now you know what is 12% of 112 and what is 12% of 12. Okay, 12% of 12 is 1.44. So how much interest rate you are getting here? 13.44 for this year. So you will add just this 13.44. So this will become how much? 125.44. Okay, now you have to find इसका 12%. हम 10 years के लिए we are calculating 100 rupees का interest rate at 12%. So first year it became 112. Second year it became 125.44. Okay. So second year this becomes 125.44. Now we have to calculate 12% of 125.44. Okay, 12% of 125.44. So see, we already know 12% of 112. Okay, we know 12% of 112, that is how much? 13.44. Okay, and what is left? Uh, 13.44 is left. Okay, in 112, if you have if you add 13.44, then you get this 125.44. Now you have to calculate 12% of 13.44. Okay, 12% of 13.44. Fine. Abhi, when we have to calculate 12% of 13.44, okay. So that also we can calculate how. See, we know what is 12% of 12. Okay. So that was 12% of 12 was 1.44. Okay, 12% of 12 was 1.44, and we have to just calculate 12% of 1.44. Okay, so 12% of 1.44 is how much? Now this you will have to calculate anyhow. Okay, so this 12% of 1.44, you are going to get how much? I think 0.17. Okay, 0.17. Okay, we will just have to calculate this because the rest other things we have calculated. Okay, so in this basically, what we have to calculate, 12% of this 112. Okay, so that is 13.44 plus we know 12% of 12 is what? 1.44. So add this as well, plus we'll add how much more? 0.17 more, because that is 12% of this 144. Okay, so 0.17 you add more, so you will get how much? 15.05 more. Okay, now you can add this 15.05 more here. So how much you are getting? You will be getting 140.49. Okay, you will be getting how much? 140.49. Abhi, we have this 140.49. Okay, so we know that this 140.49 is equals to 125.44 plus 15.05. You already know 12% of this. 12% of 125.44 is 15.05. Now you just have to know 12% of 15.04. Okay, 12% of 15.04. Okay, fine. How can you calculate 12% of 15.04? Now you already know 12% of this 13.44 plus 1.44 plus 0.17 is your 15.05. Now you know 12% of 13.44 is how much? 1.44 plus this 0.17, that is 1.61. Okay, 1.61. You know 12% of this as well, 0.17. Now you just have to know 12% of this one. Okay, so that will come to be 0.9. Just add this and add it to this number, you will get for this. Okay, Abhi, this can continue up to 10 iterations. See, no one is going to ask you in the UPSC examination, especially 10 compound interest to 10 years. Either they will ask 1, 2, 3, 4 max. Okay. So see, up to 1, 2, 3, 4 max, this is definitely doable. Okay. Up to 1, 2, 3, 4, this is definitely doable. But okay, up to 1, 2, 3, 4, this is definitely doable, but this is definitely a little bit cumbersome. Still, you can calculate. However, if we use the formula, okay, if we use the formula, let's say 100, 1 plus 12 by 100 to the power 10. Okay, so 100, 1 plus 12 by 100 will become how much? This will become 2 6 times, this will become 50 times. So 56 by 50, this will go on multiplying how many times? And you know this multiplication is very difficult. Okay, so that method is definitely easier. So I hope you understand how we calculate basically our compound interest. Okay, so you can look at this table, you can write this neatly, so your thing will be done very well. So what we are observing here, that each time we are calculating this 1.44, so we did this 0.17 and this is increasing by 0.19. So next time in this we just have to increase by 0.19. So see, we get a series here. Okay, we get a series here. So because of that, this is easily doable. Okay, so I hope now you understand uh, how we can calculate this. Now, like if we have to calculate for this 7% growth rate for 7 years, okay. So let's just try to do this. So we have 100 here, 7% for 7% growth rate for 7 year at compound interest would mean. Okay, so basically this is asking that after 7 years, how much growth will be there? How much percentage growth will be there? Okay, so let's just calculate this. So 7% of 100 is 107. Okay, 7% of 100 is 107. Because 7% of 100 is 7, so you will do plus 7, you will get this 107. Now, what about the 7% of this? So we already know 100 ka 7% is 7. What is 7% of 7? 0.49. Okay, 0.49. So what you will do, um see, 100 ka 7% is 7. Okay, and 7 ka 7% is 0.49. You have to add 7.49 here. Okay, you have to add how much? 7.49 here. So this will come to be 100 and um, you add 7.49 here, you will get 114.49. Okay, now you have to calculate 7% of this. Okay, now you have to calculate 7% of this. Fine, we will calculate. So see, this is for 1 year, 2 year, and we are going into the third year. Now 114.49 का 7% we want to know. We already know 107 का 7% is how much? 109 का 7% is 14.49. Okay, how much is left? We have to calculate 7% of 7.49. That also we know 7% of 7 is 0.49. And what is 7% of 0.49? So if you calculate 7% of 0.49, this will even be a very less term, okay, because you will divide this by 100. So this will become 7 9 is 63. This is 28 plus 6 is 28 plus 6 is 34. So you will have this 0.343. Okay, 0.34. 0.034, I think. Yes. Um, okay, so you will get 0.034. Fine. So now this will become how much? See, 14.49 is 7% of 107. Okay, and then you will add 0.49 and 0.034. Okay, 0.034. So this will be how much? Um, So see, we have this 114.49. We took it 7%. So we already know कि 107 का 7% is 14.49. Then we know 7.49 का 7% is 7 का 7% is 0.49 and 49 का 7% is 0.034. Now we just have to add this. Okay, we just have to add this. So this will become 14.98 and plus 0.034 will add, so 4, this will 0, and we have this 15.014. Okay, 15.014. Now you will do what? Just add this 15.014 here. Okay, so this becomes what? This becomes 129.5. This becomes 129.50. Okay, 129.50. Fine. So now we have to find this is 7% of this. Okay. Now we have to find 7% of this. Now we already know कि 114 plus 49, 114.49 plus 15.014. Okay, so we know the 7% of this is 15.014. We just have to calculate 7% of this. Okay, 7% of this. Fine, we can calculate this. How we will calculate? So one thing that we could have done here, that we could have calculated 7% of 14.49. Okay, but no problem. We can calculate 7% of 15 as well. That is not a very big thing. Okay, so 7% of 15, because itna approximation we can do. So this, you know, 7 5s are 35, 105 divided by 100. So you will have 1.05. Okay, 7% of 15 will get 1.05. So just add 1.05 here. So you have 16.064. Okay, 16.064. So just add here 16.064. So that will be 645, and this is 5, and this is your 145.564. Okay, 145.564. So this is our fourth term we got. Okay, 145.564. Fine. Now, see, this 145.564 is what? 129.50 plus 16.6064. Okay. So, we can definitely calculate, we definitely know 129.50 ka 7% is 16.064. What is the 7% of this 16? So 6 sevens are, you have what? 42, 4. This will be 112. So 1.12, just add 1.12. Okay. So you will get 17.064. Okay. Sorry, 17 point. We are adding 1.12. So we are adding 17.184. Okay. So this is our which time? This will be our fifth time. Okay, so we will add in 145.564. Okay, in 145.564 we'll add 17.184. Fine. So this will become how much? 8. This will become 2. Sorry, 4. This will become 7. This will become 2. This will become 1, so 162.748. Okay, we have this 162.748. So we have this fourth term, we have this fifth term. Okay, we have this fifth term, and now let's study this 7% more. Okay, so we already know what is the um, see, this is 162.748. We need to find the 7% of this. Okay. So we know 7% of 145.564 is how much? 17.18. Okay, 17.18 plus we have to calculate the 7% of this. So I'll calculate just for this 17. So this will come to be how much? 7 7 are 4919. So this will be 1.19. Okay, so 17.18 plus 1.19. Okay, so this will become how much? This will be 17, this will be 3, this will be 8, so this will be 18.37. Okay, so you just add 18.37 in this. So this will come equal to be 162.748 and this is 18.37. So this will 8, this will become 1, this will become, this is 10 and 1. Okay, so this again becomes 1. You have this 2, 8 plus 2 plus 8, 10. So 1 here. Okay, this will become 6 plus 1, 8. So 181 point something. Okay, 181 point something will get 181.18. So this is the sixth time, and just do 7% more here. Okay, just do 7% more here. So now I think you will be able to do this. So what is the 7% of 181? Let us find out. Okay, 7% of 181. So we know 162.7848 ka 7% is how much? This came to be, I think, 18 point something. Okay. Um, okay. Fine. 18 point something plus we will find 7% of 18. So 7% of 18 is how much? 7 is a 56, 5, and this will be 1.26. So just add 1.26 here. So this will become 19.26. So in 181, just add 19.26. 19.26. So this becomes 4, this becomes 3. Okay, sorry, 4. This becomes 0, this becomes 10, and this becomes, so 200.44. Okay, so seventh time we got our compound interest as 200.44. Now we started from 100, we got 200.44. So see, basically it is asking after 7 years what is the growth rate. Okay, after 7 years what is the growth rate at 7% per annum. So that means 200.44, 100 became 200.44. That means the growth is 100.44%. Okay, the growth is 100.44%. So I hope this comes for lesser term, but I think you understand what the methodology is. Okay, fine. So I think this is up for this class. We'll do in next class. Let's just do one more question. So this is saying the simple interest on a sum of money is 25% of the principal, and the rate per annum is equal to the number of years. Find the rate percent. Okay. So basically what it is saying is simple interest on a sum of money is 25% of the principal. That means 25% of the principal, and rate per annum is equal to the number of years, find the rate percentage. So you know simple interest is SI is equals to P into R into T by 100. Okay, now this rate and time, that is equal to the number of years, so that you can write as R square. So you have this PR square divided by 100 and I, and what it is given that simple interest is 25% of the principal. So 25% का क्या मतलब होता है 1/4 times of P. Okay, so if anybody says you that this is 25% of this, so that means that is 1/4 of anything. So this simple interest I is 1/4 of the principal. So we have this 1/4 and this P and by R square divided by 100. So this P and P gets cancelled. So you have R square is equals to 100 by 4. Okay, R square is equals to 100 by 4. So this is 10 by 2 basically, and that is equals to how much? 5%. Okay, because under root if you will take, so this will become 10, this will become divided by 2, so this will become 5%. So our 5% is the answer. So I hope everybody is clear with this thing. So this is up for this class. We'll start in the next class now.